This is our news, the weekend edition. And on the broadcast tonight, the Progressive Liberal Party's deputy leader demanding to see government's fiscal projections post-Hurricane Dorian. Plus, the Commissioner of Police says he's satisfied that this year's crime plan is working.
Our news is brought to you by Airlines.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Knowles, and thanks so much for joining us. Topping news tonight, Progressive Liberal Party Deputy Leader Chester Cooper says he's eager to see the government's fiscal projections post-Dorian. It's been 2 months since the Category 5 storm tore portions of Abaco and Grand Bahama to shreds, impacting the economies of those islands. Finance Minister Peter Turnquest said the deficit for the fiscal year will balloon by more than $430 million because of the storm.
Firstly, I think the government issued its recent snapshot report, and we haven't spent a lot of time analyzing these numbers. I think it's fairly delusional to believe that there won't be any significant impact to the post-Dorian numbers. I'm looking forward to seeing the post-Dorian report, where the adjustments is going to be. I read something where the minister basically says he doesn't expect too much difference in his strategy moving forward. In other words, he says steady as she goes, notwithstanding the hurricane impact. That will have to be assessed and see what his rationale is.
Cooper said he's always felt the Minister administration has been misguided with its laser focus on managing the deficit. He said despite employment numbers moving in the right direction, too much time has been spent on the deficit and not enough on economic growth.
Again, we were right in terms of where the focus of the government should be, and that is on economic growth. Yet, we continue to talk about the deficit. We continue to manage the deficit to the detriment of the country. What we see is believed to be some suppression in expenditures. Capital expenditures continue to be suppressed, notwithstanding the needs in the economy. We want the Minister of Finance to talk about VAT refunds and how much of that is still due to the business community. We want the minister to talk about vendor payments and where there are arrears. We still have vendors complaining. So we suppress expenditures and we rave about meeting the deficit whilst the economy suffers.
Police Commissioner Anthony Ferguson says he is satisfied with progress made in the crime fight this year and results from the 2019 crime plan. In 2018, there were 91 murders, the lowest it had been in 9 years. This year's murder count remains in the 70s. Ferguson said his policing plan for the year has been working and the numbers are proof.
The plan is going extremely well. As you would have seen over the last 2 months, little bumps and little challenges in respect to shootings and armed robberies, but nothing that we cannot handle, and the Bahamian people need not be overly concerned about it. We have it in hand, and I think if they are watching, they can see a whole lot of officers on the street. And I'm sure you see that, and that is really designed to go straight into the end of the year to make sure that our people have a good Christmas, go out there and shop and really enjoy yourself.
In September, there was a slight increase in murders compared to the same period last year. However, things slowed down once again over the course of October. Earlier this year, National Security Minister Marvin Dame said government aimed at keeping the murder count below 90.
Let me say, this commissioner never said anything to the press about how much, what he thinks the murder count would be at the end of the year. And so I'm policing along with my team, policing according to the policing plan. Every single day we return up for duty, we're going to do our best to make sure that the Bahamian people are safe, and that is what I will continue to say. We'll do our best to make sure that Bahamian people are safe.
And in news from the crime beat, a male pedestrian died last night after he was struck by a vehicle. The victim was walking on East Street South around 11 p.m. when he was hit by the driver of a Kia Jeep. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. No word on whether the driver remained on scene. The second traffic fatality happened over on Eleuthera shortly before 2 a.m. Sunday. The male driver of a 2015 Honda Civic lost control of the vehicle and crashed into a concrete wall in Spanish Wells. He was taken to the community clinic where he was pronounced dead. A team from the traffic department here in the capital will travel to Spanish Wells to continue investigations into this incident. Well, police are also investigating two overnight armed robberies. A man was walking in the vicinity of Saunders Beach on West Bay Street around 3 this morning when he was robbed of cash and his cell phone by two men. The suspects got away in a gray Nissan Cube. In the second incident, a fast food restaurant on Carmichael Road was robbed shortly before 4 a.m. We're told two men entered the restaurant, held the employees at bay while robbing them of cash. They made their escape in a gray Toyota Passo. Southwestern Division officers would later intercept the vehicle on Harry Allen Drive with the two male suspects. However, one was able to evade capture while the other was taken into custody. Officers recovered a Colt 9mm pistol and a small box containing the cash. Investigations are ongoing. Well, passengers on board a Caribbean Airlines flight got quite a scare yesterday. The flight heading to New York had to make an emergency landing here in the capital last night. The Boeing 737 plane departed from Guyana at 5:15 p.m. carrying 137 passengers and 7 crew members. However, while at cruising altitude, there was reported failure of the number 2 engine. That prompted pilots to declare an emergency and subsequently divert to the Lynden Pilling International Airport. The aircraft made a safe landing at LPIA at 9:50 p.m. with no injuries reported. Well, still ahead tonight, Zonta teaches students how to spot the signs of violence. So stay with us.